Hey guys, it's Ted Bogert. We're back with the Ted Show. Look who I have, returning guest, great friend, amazingly creative friend, honestly. Cole NeSmith is here with Creative City Project, and today we're going to talk about what's going on with Creative City and Dazzling Nights, Dazzling Orlando. Welcome back to the show, Cole. Thanks for being here.
It's always fantastic to see you. Thanks.
Always great to see you, except this time it's not in person.
I know.
As we were talking about before we went live. All right. So for those people who must be living under a rock, tell us a little bit about you and Creative City, and then we'll take a deep dive into Dazzling Orlando, Dazzling Nights.
Yeah. So Creative City Project produces interesting arts experiences. Usually we hold a festival every October called Immerse. It's a performing and interactive arts festival across 10 city blocks in downtown Orlando. And of course, in 2020, we didn't get to do that. So we were itching to do some new things.
And so what is Creative City, some of the other projects that you've done? Like, I think people want to learn more about the arts. You're very involved in our arts community. Do you have big plans coming up for 2021 before we take a dive into Dazzling Nights?
Well, so this year, in addition to Dazzling Nights that we'll talk about in a second, we also produced a show called Bright Young Things that happened in about 10 alleyways and open spaces of downtown Orlando. We had 8 actors that moved around the city as the story unfolded, and the audience got to accompany them on that journey. And that was an exciting theatrical production that we produced with our friend Donald Roop. And we held an orchestral event that will actually repeat this coming year in 2021 called Recharge, where we took Orlando Ballet's amazing rehearsal facility, divided it up into 8-foot squares, and each audience member got their own square. They could bring a pillow, a blanket, a yoga mat, lay down, and then we had about a 75-minute program of just ambient, reflective orchestral and jazz music. We collaborated with our friend Chris Belt from the Timucua Arts Foundation for that. And so we've been producing some fun and exciting things that I think are really unique offerings that people have really connected with.
What was 2020 like from an arts perspective? How did you handle the requirement to really pivot and rethink how you did things? Because like you said, outside, there's so many things that you all do during the year that people are in crowds. So you've had to figure out how to maneuver through that, be COVID compliant, be safe. What was that like for you all?
Well, our friends at SAC Comedy Lab Improv Theater have taught me a great lesson. One of the tenets of improv is that everything is an offer. And I think that's a lesson for all of us all of the time, whether it's in our personal lives, our relationships, our business, whatever it might be. Everything is an offer. And there's these moments where you're on an improv stage and somebody might say something completely arbitrary or unrelated to what's happening or totally bizarre. And I think the natural human reaction a lot of times is like, wait, you're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to say that. But the improv lesson is yes and. Okay, you just said that and here we are. So what can I do to continue down this road, even if it's a bizarre, crazy, unusual road? And I think 2020 is that, right? So it's
100%.
all asking that question of like, how has 2020 challenged us to continue to create, seeing it as an offer rather than a complete disruption? Of course, it has been a complete disruption, but a lot of times there's opportunity in that disruption. And so we've just,
I think.
We've produced experiences that are distance. We've produced experiences that are outside. We've rethought our audience sizes. Immerse 2019 had 75,000 guests, so we couldn't necessarily do an event that in 2020 our expectation was to have 100,000 guests join us and platform 1,000 artists. And we had a record 175 applications for artists for Immerse 2020.
Wow.
Our programming team went through all of those, found the best of them. We were ready to go if the world had gotten back to normal by then. But by July, it started looking like, okay, this isn't going to happen. Not only because of all those crowds we were gathering, but we work with a lot of really talented and wonderful artists who need to rehearse and produce. And, we just knew people weren't going to be in a dance studio rehearsing for 2 months. So
it's a shift. It's a pivot, a shift. Yeah. But I feel like the arts community did it quickly. Like you all, because I think also you've got the advantage of being creatives at heart. you shifted and you realized, all right, we're just going to have to embrace things like distance performances and how do we engage or keep the audience engaged when they're not physically present looking at something. But I think you all have done an amazing job at shifting that. And because people want it. I mean, we all saw when Hamilton did their thing and that all launched and people just tuned in droves. They watched it. And maybe the experience, of course, isn't exactly the same as seeing them all right there on the stage, but it was still a magical experience. And so it's just a matter of figuring out how to create it. But the great thing about you guys is you have the right lighting, the right sound, the right makeup, the right talent.
Sure.
So, when we all do our little Zoom stuff, it's not exactly the same as when you're doing something creative. All right, let's talk about Dazzling Nights. We're going to immerse ourselves in the wonder of the holidays with Dazzling Nights. What's that all about?
So, I mean, fortunately, it was COVID compliant. We didn't do Dazzling Nights because of COVID. We did obviously make quite a few adjustments to the program, but we started working on this in November of 2019, approached the Lou Gardens team, the City of Orlando venues department that oversees Lou Gardens, and collaborated with them to create what is truly a pretty unique holiday experience. One of the tenets that we really hold up as the Creative City Project is how can we create arts encounters that audiences can't experience anywhere else in the world. So when we started thinking about the holidays, we didn't just want to start wrapping lights around trees, which we have, but we wanted to ask, how could we create truly immersive environments? How could we create interactive experiences around some of the themes of the holidays? And so people will see those more traditional experiences like a 65-foot light tunnel that has hundreds of thousands of traditional holiday lights on them. But also there are lights installed in the ground. When guests jump on them, they light up. We took about 60,000 lights and hung them vertically from these massive camphor trees in the gardens, and it looks like this star field overhead. We took, right when you walk in, there's a section of the gardens, which I think has turned out to be my favorite, where there are literally millions of points of laser light all over all the bushes and the trees. And it's just this kind of overwhelmingly beautiful, awe-inspiring experience.
Magical. All right, we have a little video, don't we?
Oh, we do, yeah. We'll keep talking as we look at some of the things that we've been putting together. So you can see them jumping on those pads. You can see lots of fun photo opportunities and larger than life holiday displays.
It is larger than life. Look at that.
Yeah. So you'll see some clips in there as well where we took, there's a forested area of the back part of Lou Gardens. And
well, we lost Cole for a minute, but he'll probably come back. The great and DazslingOrlando.com is the website if you guys want to check it out. It is beautiful what they have done. If you haven't been to Lou Gardens, obviously you should definitely check that out. That's over in Audubon Park area. Here's Cole. We got him back. Here he is. I just kept talking.
I'm sure you did. You're great at that.
I'm not lost at a loss for words ever.
I tried to close that video and close my browser window instead, so I apologize.
I told you, technology today. I have a little bit of a challenge, so no surprise there. Beautiful. I love that entryway too, where you saw absolutely gorgeous. But I was saying to them that saying to the audience, this is a fantastic holiday feel. The holidays are about lights. That's so much what the holidays are about. On so many levels, and you just cannot help but go in there and be dazzled.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we already actually have had several thousand guests come through the doors and have had just such overwhelmingly positive feedback. It really is kind of enlivening people with that holiday spirit, which is something I think we all need in 2020.
We need it. Right?
To the point that most of our dates are completely sold out all the way through the rest of the run. But special tip. Tonight at 9 p.m., we're releasing a few additional tickets for each evening's performance. So that's at dazzlingorlando.com. So if people have gone to look for tickets and have already seen that they're sold out, or are just now hearing about it and want to join us tonight, Thursday night at 9 p.m., we're putting up just a few more tickets. As we've monitored things, we've figured out how we could fit a few more guests in and give people that experience.
Fantastic. You all look at that, 9 o'clock tonight, dazzlingorlando.com. You don't want to miss out. You see the video and it's beautiful. In person, absolutely gorgeous. You will not regret that. And get into the holiday spirit. Like Cole said, we're all looking for that. And gosh, Christmas is next week. We're in the middle of Hanukkah. Kwanzaa's next week sometime. I mean, it's the season. And let's end 2020 with the holiday spirit and a whole bunch of dazzling lights. Thanks, Cole, for all you do in our community and everything the Creative City Project does. Dazzlingorlando.com. Check it out and pay attention at 9 o'clock tonight. You're not going to want to miss out. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Go to Dazzling.